Good morning, everybody, and a very warm, a very big welcome to you. You are watching Bravo 22 Live, made possible by the Royal British Legion and the Drive Project. Now, this is the last of the sessions for this season. It is the 41st session. We have done 41 sessions in 20 weeks. Amazing! Now, I don't know about you, but it has certainly kept me sane. It has kept me focused. I know it has kept you the same as well. It's been wonderful to have you with us. We've had some amazing creatives along the way. Thank you to all of you for all of your sharing, all of your subscribing, telling all your friends about it. Keep telling your friends. Bravo 22 Live we're open to all serving personnel, all former serving military personnel, all wounded, injured and sick, and families of all of the above military personnel. So please do keep on sharing. Look back at what we've been doing. Get your friends to have a look. Get them interested. What's not to love about it? We love it, and we can't wait for October for it to come back. Now, the things we have been doing, we've been doing creative writing, we've been doing storytelling, we've been doing puppetry, we've spoken to a film and TV director, found out all sorts of wonderful things, poetry, we've done Foley, we have done so much. I could sit here and talk about all the things that I've done and that we've done for hours, but I will spare you the pain. Today's session, we have the amazing Al Johnson, and Al has been just absolutely superb throughout the whole of the season. So I am going to hand over to Al. Today's session is the sound of art. I'm in glorious Devon in my motorhome. I'm not on holiday, I'm working, so just, don't think I'm on holiday. No rest for the wicked. I am now going to hand you over to Al, who is going to bring to you the sound of art.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Laura. I thought you were going to say the sound of music there by mistake, which is quite the same. You look like you're sitting in your cockpit, actually, about to set off on a journey. You're not in a small plane, are you?
No.
So today's session is a slightly different one. We're going to listen to some pieces of music and respond to them. Laura's going to do this alongside us, and she's going to be our kind of token audience member. She's the only one I can see, but I'm hoping that you have all got materials with you. If you've got materials, this is the moment to collect them. And what we're going to do is I'm going to play some music. So I've chosen 5 pieces of music. I'm going to play them, and then as they're being played, I want you to draw. Now, this is not always as straightforward as it, because you sort of feel you've got to have an idea before you start, but this is really about responding. It's about getting a kind of immediate response to something and putting that down on paper and not thinking too much. In a way that it's an automatic response. It's not about your thought process, it's about getting something on the paper. So if you've got paints or pastels or colour pencils, or even just a pencil and a bit of paper, you can do this. If you can't do this as we go along, what you can do is think, and you can write onto the chat box what your response would be if you were able to make it. And in fact, this is all going to be online, so afterwards you can try out your responses when it's on the YouTube later. So we're going to play the music, a minute of music, about a minute, and then about another minute of drawing. Laura's going to do this as we go along, so we'll look at her responses. So let's try this out. So our first piece, I'm not going to tell you what it, because if I give you the title, it wouldn't work for this one, but if I give you a title and the composer or the maker of the music, you might it might give you some clues about how you respond. So I'm not going to give you the names till afterwards. But for this first piece, I want you to try and imagine the scene, or to get in your mind the scene that this music conjures up. and to draw that scene or paint that scene or use pastels. So a minute of the music, and then we're going to have just another minute when I'll just be fairly quiet if I can, so we've got 2 minutes of drawing. So it's not very long, quite a short time. So really respond fast. So okay, as we start the music, get your minds into a scene, a place, or something that this music conjures up. Okay, so if we could have our first piece of music. Oh, I think we've lost the end of that. Anyway, keep drawing. So try and imagine that scene that's in your mind and see if you can get that down on paper. And if anyone's got ideas that they want to post on the chat line about what that scene would be, that would be a great to have that. Laura, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing all right, actually. I'm creating a great masterpiece here. Good. This is going to be worth money, Al. This is going up for auction, I think. Let's raise some funds.
You want to contact Ian Rudge. He's very enthusiastic about getting our work on eBay.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just hasn't got, hoping anybody's chance with me at the helm today. Yeah, it's wonderful. It looks like my 12-month-old granddaughter's done it, actually.
Well, always good. I think having a childlike approach to drawing, always good. So
yes.
Can we have a look at what you've come up with?
You can indeed. So I envisaged a meadow. Right. And this is my meadow. Now, I actually also envisaged children holding hands in a big circle and dancing around in the meadow, but right. I didn't quite have time to draw the children, but this is my meadow.
Fantastic. What are you drawing with? Are you using pastels?
I am actually using oil pastels provided by the wonderful Bravo 22 Live on a previous workshop. So yes, making use of all the materials.
I quite like the way that they're the pastels are all in colour order.
Fabulous.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So what was it about that in your mind was creating this meadow?
The sounds reminded me of skipping children. It reminded me of flowing long grass, and that's what gave me that image that I hopefully, obviously it's nowhere near as good as what Ian could create, but I don't think, it sort of shows the flowing grass, I think.
Yeah, actually it's got a sort of nice flow to it, nice movement through. Yeah.
Yes, I really like that piece of music, actually. I thought it was very joyous.
It's Gassenhauer, it's Carl Orff, and actually some of you might recognise it. We've had quite a lot of discussion about this piece of music, actually, because I'm old, I remembered it from Badlands, which is very long time ago. It was the theme music for Badlands, but it was used in True Romance as well, or a version of it. Have we got any comments on that piece of music come up?
We do. It reminded Graham of the Magic Roundabout, and
Isn't it?
yeah, and we've got a message from eBay from Ian, says that eBay is open as we speak. So there you go. Get your bids in, folks.
It's interesting actually, because the way that you combine imagery and music, changes the music. So in Badlands, it's really rather sinister, because the story is quite sinister. It's quite sort of about a sort of corruption, really. So it's interesting. It sort of changes form. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's a very good beginning. Okay, let's go on to our second piece of music. Now, this time, I want you to try and see what colours this suggests to you. So we're just thinking about colour, and use the colours to you can make marks with the colours. Use the colour that is most dominant the most on your drawing. So if it reminds you of a particular colour, you see if you can get a lot of that colour in, and see what other subsequent colours come up. So this is much less literal. It's much less about a scene and more about a sort of sense of the music. Okay, so let's listen to track 2.
From where you are, you see the smoke start to arise where they play cards, and you walk over softly, moving past the guards. The stakes are getting higher, you can feel it in your heart. He calls your bluff, he is the ace you never thought he played that much, and now it's more than all these cards you want to touch. You'll never know if winning this would really be enough. Take a look beyond the moon, you see the stars. And when you look around, you know the room by heart. I have never dreamed it. Have you ever dreamed a night like this? I cannot believe it. I may never see a night like this. When everything you think is incomplete starts happening when you are cheek to cheek. Could you ever dream it? I have never dreamed a night like this.
So, Lara, what were your colours there?
Well, they are very much like very vibrant, very alive.
Right.
I felt that there was very much sort of Latin American, sitting outside the bar, watching all the fireworks, listening to all the music, going with the rhythm, and I just found it very colourful.
Yeah. Do you think there's a sort of Latin feel to that, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. It was very, very much like, and I was imagining cocktails. So these are the usual colour of my cocktails, this sort of colours.
Cocktail brollies.
Oh, yes.
The music, it was called A Night Like This, and it's by Caro Emerald, who's actually Dutch, I think, rather than Latin American, but she is a wonderfully flamboyant. She looks rather sort of flamboyant, she wears wonderful sort of elaborate clothes, and very, very lovely to watch. I think it's a track you kind of want to move to, isn't it? And I feel
absolutely
that drawing something that you want to move to should give you a kind of movement in your drawing. But yeah, bright color. I felt bright colors. It's interesting. I don't know that Emerald is her real name, but I thought it was lovely that she's called Emerald, because that just seems to conjure up the kind of singing she does. Any comments from our watchers?
Yes, we have Sharon went for pinks and greens with that one, and Christine went for a sandy beach, and Graham with purple velvet.
Purple velvet.
Very smooth.
Delicious. Yeah, isn't it interesting how we go in different directions with music, and kind of making a visual response that you know, it's not all things to all people, that we hear exactly the same thing, and our visual response will be as many people as there are responding, you know. Really, really interesting. Lovely. What was your main colour there, did you think, Laura?
I think probably reds, because it goes into the orange as well.
Yeah, reds and oranges. Lovely.
Yes.
Okay. So let's hear our next piece of music again. This time we're going to think about marks, the kinds of marks you make. So doesn't matter really what colour you use, but is this something that gives you sharp marks, or kind of staccato marks, or is it something more fluid, something more kind of rounded? So have a listen to this and try and make some marks on your paper as you listen rather to this. So track 3, please. Right, now a fact that not many people know about me is that I can play that on the banjo. So I thought you needed to know that. I can't play it very well, and I can't play it as fast as that. I can play it. It's called Wildwood Flower, Eugene Cox and Ronnie Stonemason. So Laura, what kind of shapes was that? What mark?
This is the masterpiece.
Okay, we're ready. Oh, very good. So quite sharp.
So I found it really sharp, but I did find some softer underlying banjo playing as well. So there was some obvious, very, very sharp banjo playing, but there was a lot. There was undertones of a much smoother one as well. Banjo playing.
That's interesting, actually, isn't it? Banjos. You play the banjo with both hands, and you play chords with one hand, and you pluck with the other hand, and so you do get. It's interesting, actually. You do get two kind of different sounds, and some of it's much more melodic, and some of it's much sharper. So that's an interesting response. Very nice. Anything we've got on the responses? So
from Sally, I think this was for the last one. She said, I painted a red 1920s car imagining driving along in Cuba under the blue skies and sunshine. That's exactly what I had in my head. And Graham says, yee-haw, for the last one.
Yes, good. Thank you, Graham. We've got another one come up, I think.
Oh, Christine got triangles and the deep south. Yes, absolutely.
It's hot. I think it's a hot piece of music myself. If I'd asked you to do marks and colours, I imagine the marks would be in hot pinks or oranges, or it's somehow gives you is somebody sitting on the back stoop playing the banjo, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes. We've just got one more. Graham has said Graham got ticks, but depict him plucking a banjo.
Oh, very nice. Yes, kind of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a technical term. I'd like you to know that.
Right.
In the banjo world, that's a technical term. Lovely. Well, we're doing very well. So the next piece, I want you to think about shapes. So you can use colour as well as shapes, but think about the kind of shapes that this conjures up in your mind. So and shape and rhythm are very much connected in both music and in art. This idea of a sort of movement across a piece of paper or a movement through a piece of music. So have a think about shape and see what shapes you get for this. It could be a repeated shape that you use lots of times over your sheet. It could be a kind of fluidity. See what comes into your mind. So let's have piece of music number 4. Right, so we're thinking about shapes, the kind of whether they're sharp shapes or fluid shapes, or if the shapes recede and enlarge as you go through your image. Lara, how did you get on with that one?
I found that piece of music actually very challenging for shapes, because I sort of found a lot of shapes in there.
Yeah.
I think there was a definite flow, and it was quite fluid. I also got a lot of squares and rectangles and a triangle. I think that was the bass when it was quite deep. And then of course when the cello, is that a cello?
Yeah.
Cello. So when the cello was just flowing along, I did find that flowed along quite nice, but I did find the deeper segments of it quite square, and I don't know why, square, oblong, triangle.
Because I wouldn't have associated squares, but I think there is a sort of, there's something about the kind of plummeting, the going downwards in that music. It's the Bach Cello Suite No. 1 in G major, which I'm sure you knew.
Absolutely, I play it lovely.
You can play that, can't you, Laura?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very interesting in terms of classical music, particularly thinking about shape, is because you get this sort of movement, and you imagine the music, you imagine the written music and how you move through the written music. So it's interesting that you've done something else and got a kind of rectangles and squares and seen it as much more sort of rigid. Very interesting. Any comments on our line?
Yeah. So we have Sally's got dancing squiggles. I'm not sure if that was for that one or for the last one. But and a new one from Christine, sees a ship on a very choppy sea, for the last one.
Oh, that's very nice, actually. Yeah, you start to. I mean, I think if one thing I was thinking about doing for this session was to put an image up with the music, but of course that would immediately take you on a particular journey. And so one person might think of a ship, but another person might think of, I mean, to me, it's something. It's a house. You know, there's a house, and it's a very somber mood, and lots of squeaky wooden floors, and something not good going on. So it's you know, can take you all sorts of places. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Was it something you can say, Laura?
No. Oh, it reminded me. So this is from Alice, and it says it reminded me of a little mouse scurrying through a room. No, it's not from Alice. It's from Sharon. Sorry, Sharon. So it reminds Sharon of a little mouse scurrying through a room.
Yes, isn't that interesting? So it's for Sharon, it's something quite small and, you know, tight, and for you, it was something quite dark, and for me, it's something quite sort of gloomy, actually. Very interesting.
It's very odd. It actually reminded me of a funeral.
Yeah, it does remind me of a funeral, partly because it was chosen by a very close friend of mine for her funeral. So you know, it does, I think that's why it's so somber for me. But I wonder if you could hear that and it wouldn't be somber. I don't know. I think something just aren't they?
I think they are, but I think if you were in Latin America with a cocktail in your hand, it might sound quite different.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's true, isn't it? It's got all of the context, which we've talked about a lot in terms of art, you know. It's all about context. Right, let's have our last piece of music. So this time, I want you to try and capture the mood of the music in your mind, and find colours that will give a sense of the mood. So maybe 3 colours to sum up the mood of this music, and just make some whatever marks seem to be appropriate for this music. Okay, so let's have our last piece. Well, I think that's a nice one to end on, actually, isn't it?
I think it's a gorgeous one. I think that's the nicest one, probably.
Really? It's Dudu Pukwana, who's a South African musician, part of a wonderful, ever sort of changing band called the Brotherhood of Breath. They all played instruments that you had to blow, and have been sort of making music for a long time, since the 70s. So what was the mood of that for you, Laura?
For me, that was love. That felt very, very much like celebrating or coming together, just being with each other, very much like we are today and always. You know, it just felt like a togetherness of lots of people, and it reminded me of us.
Oh, so nice. That's lovely. I love the way it's almost like bubbles bubbles in a bubble, isn't it? They're all
it's lots of fun and all of togetherness, and just lovely. I just felt really passionate about that one, actually.
Oh, good. Well, listen out for his music. I mean, they made loads and loads of great albums, and they're very hard not to dance to. You just want to move, don't you, when you
absolutely.
Have we got any comments on?
So we do. So I think from Sharon. So Soha drew overlapping triangles and jumps, and Sharon used silver, purple and blue for that one. Graham went for red, green and yellow.
So fun.
And
Yeah.
Christine says it reminds her of dancing in the street.
Oh, that's a very nice way of seeing that piece of music. Very, very nice response. So lovely. I don't know which did you like that last one best, did you think?
I think I did. Yeah, it was very much like a togetherness and a celebratory togetherness. It was almost, I could almost envisage the boat coming in and, you know, the sailors getting off the boat and all the families running and hugging them and having a big festival in the street. Yeah, I loved that one. I thought it was lovely.
Fantastic. And it seems like we've got another comment in there, I think, there.
So Claire, Sharon's daughter, said it reminded her of a wartime party, so red, white and blue. That's
right.
lovely.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that idea of celebration, although it's quite particular in, you know, to South Africa, actually. I think it's wonderful, isn't it, how you kind of find all these connections. I mean, I think that's something that's very important about, you know, about making art and about responding to things and making drawings and paintings and sculptures. You know, it's all about you. It's about your personal response. We're all different, you know, so we all find new and exciting things in everything we do. It's keeping your eyes and ears open, isn't it, I suppose?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, that was our last session for this year, for this season. So thank you very, very much for watching. And we've got a very loyal gang of people watching who and lots of other people, hopefully. And it's been wonderful to be in your living rooms or your back rooms, your kitchen, toilet, possibly. Thank you very, very much for inviting us in. Fantastic to have delivered and been alongside the professionals that have been delivering the sessions over our few months of lockdown. And as Lara says, we will be back. So don't go away. Watch this space. But in the meantime, goodbye. Thank you.
Huge thank you, Al. Another amazing workshop. I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did too. Now listen, don't be going too far. We are back in October. Just a huge thank you on all of our behalves to the whole team who have provided this, who have kept us sane, who have kept us focused, who have given us a reason, who have made lockdown so much easier than it could have been. So thank you wholeheartedly on behalf of all of the members. Thank you, team. Thank you, Royal British Legion. Thank you, the Drive Project. Sue and Alice, you've been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. You guys, thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. As I said before, keep on doing it. Keep on sharing. Keep on getting your mates subscribing. And don't forget, before this is completely over, we've still got Thursday night. Now, Thursday night at 7:30, do not miss it. We're going to have a fun time. We're having a showcase celebration of all the work we've done during lockdown, which has kept us really focused. Keep using those materials, guys, while we get back in October. Keep using all the things you've got. Look at the videos on YouTube. It's all there. Remind yourself what to do. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself focused. Keep yourself safe. Be there Thursday, the 27th, 7:30 on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Keep subscribing. Do the feedback button and share this with your friends. And I'll see you on Thursday. Lots of love. Take care. Stay safe.